Hi, friends. You can file this one under diversifying your reselling activities or me diversifying my reselling activities. So I just wanted to tell you what I've been up to for the sake of perhaps voyeuristic interest. And I do apologize because the orange kitty is going kind of crazy right now. So if he makes any appearances, I apologize in advance for his antics. Oh, there he is. Anyway, so something I've been working on lately is opening a Shopify store. I actually technically opened it several months ago, but I recently spent some time talking to a business coach and figuring out how to hone it a bit. And I relaunched just a couple days ago, and it's not perfect yet, which drives me nuts. Like, as someone trained in graphic design, it's so hard to just like let things go out into the world when they're not perfect. But I think it's important to learn how to do that. It's like, 80%, 20% thing, or the done is the enemy of perfect is the enemy of done. There's the dog. Hey, Sophia. Sophia says hi. So anyway, I was just gonna talk about why I started my Shopify store and just show it to you, even though I don't know if that's even remotely interesting. So yeah, I mean, the reasons are kind of obvious, the big macro reasons, which are that it's kind of scary to depend solely on a big tech company like eBay for a chunk of your income. And even though I sell on other platforms too, like Etsy and Discogs and here and there and everywhere, and do some other reselling type activities, like, sometimes I'll do RA on Amazon, or sometimes I'll do consignment stuff or sell clothes to ThredUp, or things like that. These are all platforms run by other people, whereas Shopify, yes, is a platform run by a company, but it enables you to create your own store, which you have your own control over, and you own your IP, and you're not beholden to them in any way except to run the back end. And for that privilege, you pay $30 a month or whatever plan you have. Oh my god. So that's sort of the big reason. Then the other reasons are that I really like making things, and I really like things other people have made, and I want a platform to sell them, and I want a platform to sell other stuff I believe in that isn't what I sell on my eBay store or my Etsy store, which both are specific, sort of audiences I target to, I'll say. And so I wanted something that was more, me, if I can say that. That was like the things I like in particular, not just, ephemera I like, or ephemera I like plus ephemera I don't like, or whatever I sell in my eBay store, we'll say. So that's sort of reason number two. We'll call that creative freedom or creative expression or something like that. And reason three is that I moved to Salem about a year ago, Massachusetts, that is. And there's a fantastic creative community here. And not just creative, but there's people doing cool stuff and really kind of trying to push the envelope of, I don't know how to say it, like, doing things with capitalism you can't really do everywhere, because there is this crazy tourist economy here, and because there's this spirit of diversity and tolerance that comes from the fact that this town is famous for its spirit of non-diversity and non-tolerance, i.e. in the 1690s when we killed our neighbors that we didn't like, and we called them witches. But now, this town celebrates tolerance. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not utopia or anything. It's, there are issues like everywhere, but I like the idealism that flourishes here, even if it's not completely fulfilled. And I want to be part of the good part of that. And so to me, that means celebrating Salem's uniqueness and its like the real magic that's here, not just like the hocus pocus magic that's imaginary. Though that also brings a lot of tourists here, so we can't exactly complain. But so my store kind of capitalizes on that, but not in, I hope, an evil way. And I also hope to do a lot of in-person selling in Salem at the various like arts fairs and vendor fairs, and we have this big thing called Haunted Happenings in the fall, where there's just tons of celebrations for all the tourists that come for Halloween. Like I forget the statistics, but there's some like ridiculous influx of people into town in October. It's kind of a unique opportunity, and I don't mean that in like a money grubbing way. I mean that in a celebratory way. But I also, of course, living in this society, do need to make money. So, there's that. I think those are kind of what inspired the shop. And I guess I also hope that it helps me to meet more people in my new town and to become more part of the community and the creative community. And I feel like that's already happening. So that's very cool. I've met some really amazing people so far. And my Shopify store is going to be mostly totally separate from eBay and Etsy and whatever else. And I know, people want to use Shopify because it can pull that stuff in and integrate, and that's cool. And I may use that to some degree at some point, but I haven't done it yet. I mean, I've experimented with the technology, but I don't have it set up right now. And the reason is that I consider my eBay store to be kind of an everything store of the genre which is antiques, ephemera, paper, 78 records, random old stuff, things. And I curate it, sure, but I curate it for what I think people want to buy on eBay, what I think is interesting, what I think will sell, and is in that genre. On Etsy, I specialize in paper crafting and junk journal stuff. And so again, it's an everything store of that. Like I'll sell actual, real life vintage ephemera for crafters, but I'll also do digital downloads, and I'll do things that I've bought wholesale to sell that I think are cool. It's an everything store of its genre. And my Shopify store is much more closely curated, has a lot of my design and eventually art in it. I haven't really added the art yet because I hate taking photographs of it, but I'm working on that. And it's really targeted, and it's not where I buy a bulk lot of stuff and put it in there. That goes in Etsy and eBay. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy for my Shopify store. So like I said, like eventually I might, like I do have a few things that are listed on eBay or Etsy that are in there, and I just did that manually. And eventually I probably will use some of the software that helps you shuttle between them to actually sync that and to choose, 10 items from my Etsy store and 30 from my eBay store that are going to go in Shopify. Maybe not even that. I don't know. It depends how the market works, like what people want. And I'll also find out more about that as I do in-person events. I'm going to try selling some ephemera and some paper crafting supplies and see how that goes. And if that's part of what interests people, I'll keep it in the store. And if it's not, I'll keep moving in other directions. It's going to be a learn and pivot kind of situation. Like, you have to just see what people want and go that way while still maintaining your integrity and making things you believe in and you want to sell. So, it's easy. Anyway, I'll show you my store. I just don't want to be secretive. There's no real reason, you don't have to buy something or care necessarily, but I just want to show you for a visual representation of what I'm talking about. So this is my store. It's called Keep Salem Odd, and it's kind of a philosophy as well as the store name. I think I kind of described that a little earlier. It was called something else before when I first launched, and through talking to some business mentor coach people, I was convinced that I should have a name that is a little more commercial, and that's where Keep Salem Odd came from. Before it was just a t-shirt, now it's the name of the store. And I do apologize because the cat is eating styrofoam on the ground, and that's so annoying. I'm sure that sound, if you can hear it. The store is still kind of weird in that I have collections of things that are targeted towards different groups, but I also expect there to be overlap. So just if you're curious about this, how I set this up was that there's this main menu that works by type of thing. So, you go under clothes and there's t-shirts, and some they appeal to all the different demographics, or there's t-shirts and hats and all this stuff. Appeals to different demographics. Or same with jewelry. This is all the jewelry that I have so far. And so on and so forth. But also I have these collections here, and these are kind of the flavors of things in the store. So there's the Salem stuff, and that includes things from those categories I showed you. And then there's the elder goth stuff, which is a very big demographic here, including myself, kind of. And so, that also includes things that were in the clothing category and some other stuff if you go to the next pages. But it's kind of like cross-reference. So you can either be into whatever, or you can be into a certain aesthetic. Good for the Goose is vegan and pet stuff. I don't have a ton of it yet, but working on it. And so that's another possibly a crossover on the Venn diagram. Like, there's lots of vegan goths, there's lots of non-vegan goths, whatever, but also you can just go there directly. And then there's the Tiny Flying Goats is actually the name of my Etsy store, which is in shambles at the moment. I mean, you can look at it, but it's no example of anything. I put it on the back burner for quite some time. But it's also a collection here, and this is going to be more ephemera you can use for crafting, and old books and photos and things that people might want to collect or use for crafting or whatever. And I feel like this is going to make more sense in person imagine going to a booth and there's t-shirts and Salem stuff, and there's old stuff, maybe some framed postcards, and there's some vegan stuff and some goth stuff. And I think it will be more cohesive in person, although it sounds totally crazy, incohesive. It makes sense in my head for what it's worth. And then the Sea Squirrel collection is kind of everything else, and it's also going to be a lot of my art. So like these are my weird squirrel t-shirts that I'm kind of obsessed with. But yeah, I really like making squirrel t-shirts, like my otter t-shirts stuff. This is just stuff I do, like sometimes. This is just stuff I do. And I actually have a lot of handmade journals and things that I have not put up here yet, which I hope will make it feel more artsy and will make more sense. I also have some friend stuff. Like I have a friend who does these great reprints of public domain books, but it's a very tightly curated set of what he'll print. And he makes new covers and does these, self-published. They're very cool. And then he writes his own books as well. They're here. So I have a lot of those in the store. I also have this book, which another friend wrote, which is like a humorous memoir of sorts. It's very good. And then all kinds of other things, stickers and this and that and the other. I plan to have a whole series of Antarctica stuff eventually, another interest, ocean liner stuff. I do seem to have a lot of rodents already for whatever reason. These are another artist did these. And I actually bought these wholesale, like a small quantity, but I quite like them. These are some stickers I made of extinct animals. It's this sort of series, and they're all over the place. And I want it to be extremely eclectic, but I also want it to be understandable and cohesive. So it's a fine balance, and I'm still working on it. And I think, once all the things that are in my head are in the store, maybe it will make more sense. Maybe it makes sense now. Maybe it doesn't have to make sense. I'm not really sure. You tell me. But so yeah, that's my that's my Shopify store, and check it out if you want. You don't have to. I'm not selling you anything right now. I'm just telling you what I'm up to. And let me know if you want more videos on how to work with Shopify. I'm not really an expert, but I can, I built this and it was really easy. I mean, I did a series on how to build stuff in Shopify. I don't think it was very popular, so maybe that's not a thing. But if you have questions, do let me know. I'll see if I can answer them. I hope that me telling you what I'm doing is useful in some way. I'm really not sure if it is or not, but I feel like just being transparent and showing you somebody else's journey in this world of creating your own entrepreneurial life, selling things in some way, might be either interesting or spark ideas. Let me know if you have questions and if you want to know more about this whole project. Thank you and take care.